Hello everybody, and welcome back to my sunroom here in East Tennessee on this beautiful spring day. It's 80 degrees here in East Tennessee today, so I am just doing a happy dance, and I had a really big success this morning. I will tell you about that at the end of the video. I've got something to show you all. Most of you all follow me with my orchid videos, and I have something really cool to share with you all because it happened today and I want to share the success today. So I thought, okay, while we're having successes, let's just go ahead and repot my Easter cactus. This little cactus is less than a year old. My friend Sharon propagated it last summer, and when she sent it to me, she said, I don't think that it's mature enough to bloom for you, but it probably will the next year. And as you see, the roots are growing up through the pot. And I thought, I don't think that it's going to bloom. I don't see any evidence of it. I gave it a very cool fall. In the fall, you're supposed to give these temperatures between 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. I actually had this setting in my garage with very cool temperatures up until the middle of December to try to get it to bloom. But I think she's right. I think Sharon's right. I think it's just a little bit too immature of a plant for it to bloom yet. So I thought I'd go ahead and just repot this with you all. I have not seen a repotting video on an Easter cactus. There's not a lot of information out there about them, as you all know. They're a bit of a mysterious plant, and I'm beginning to see why. The Thanksgiving and Christmas cacti are relatively easy to get to bloom once you know the rules. But these don't like to be too dry. They don't like to be too wet. They like to just kind of be damp, and then they have that really weird cool down period. 45 to 55 degrees is cool for a plant, but that's what they require. So what I'm planning on doing, I'm trying to get all these wires out of my way. There's a lot of, yes, okay, let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so here's this little guy. He's just absolutely adorable. He blooms pink. But as you see, there are some new clades that are forming. So I'm thinking he's going to be happier if I just go ahead and repot him. Actually, my Thanksgiving cacti are getting ready to bloom again. Yes, you heard me. The cool weather, the unusually cool weather that we had a few weeks ago has told them they need to bloom again. So I'm going to have Thanksgiving cactus blooms here in a few weeks. Just in time for my April Thanksgiving cactus video. So what I'm doing is I'm doing what I saw my grandmother do for so many years on little plants that you try to kind of gently lift out of a pot. I'm just taking, this knife is very thin, and I'm just trying to kind of separate it from the sides of the plant so that I don't do any damage, and see if I can just kind of get this to lift out of here. I'm not wearing gloves, which I normally do, but it's just too hot today to wear gloves. This is going to just pop right out of here. Okay, yay. Okay, and as you see, this is just in regular, this looks like a very good potting soil, actually. These don't like to be placed in a huge, well, I shouldn't say a huge pot. If you've got a huge Easter cactus, it's going to need a large pot. But they don't like to be placed in a very large pot when they're a very small plant. These like a pot just slightly larger than what they're in already. So what I've done is I have a 4-inch orchid pot, and I don't know if it's going to set down in here. I need to kind of check that out. What do y'all think? The reason I like to do repotting videos with you all is I kind of feel like you all are here. You are in spirit, right? I I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm going to pause it and I'm going to think about it, and I will be right back. Okay, I found a pot that is much better. This one is from the Orchid Supply Store. This is a 4-inch pot as well. Okay, the cone on this one is taller than on this one. This is an opaque, and of course this is a clear. So this is going to be the one that I'm going to choose. So that kind of, yeah. I always like to have everything set up before I do my repotting videos. Several of you have said, why do your repottings just go so smoothly? Well, the answer to that is I get everything ready beforehand because I know you all are going to be watching. And when I don't repot and video it, I end up getting kind of lost because I forget something. Seriously. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've put some large Orchida bark on the bottom of this pot. You need to get a lot of drainage in the bottom of this pot so that the roots don't stand in water. They are very particular. The roots are very sensitive to these little plants. I am using supplies from the Orchid Supply Store, who is my sponsor for my channel. I'm using the large, and let me show you what that looks like, the large Orchida bark. Then I'm using the small, which is a completely different matter. That's the small bark compared to the large bark. And I'm also using the Mountain West Products Professional Blend Glacier Gold. I love this potting mix. So what I've done is about 50-50 small bark to the Glacier Gold. I want something very light, very airy. I don't want these roots rotting down in the potting media. That looks just about right to me. Mix that up. And several people have asked me, do you take the soil from around the roots when you repot your Thanksgiving cacti, your Easter cacti? And I don't, because you would tear up the plant. I like for them to be a little bit moist, but not, you know, soggy wet, of course, but I don't like for them to be too dry either. There's always a nice balance when it comes to these cacti. So I'm not going to do anything like trying to take this apart. These roots have already well, they've already kind of melted into the potting media, as you see. So what I'm going to do, and that's going to be a much better fit. Yes, yes. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, I need to get this situated a little bit better. Okay, get some things out of the way because I don't need this pot. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pour just a little bit of this in the bottom. I hope I have mixed enough up for this pot. Yes, I have. I have. But it's always good to know what people repot their cacti in, what they repot their orchids in. Kind of see a demonstration. I'm a very visual person, and that just really helps me. And like I said, it also helps when you all are here for moral support. It just kind of goes by a little bit faster, a little bit easier. And I'm going to need to mix some more of that up, and I've got this all over my hands. How fun. Okay, and let's make sure that this is rolling. Yes, it is. Okay. And while I'm filling this in, I will have the information to the Orchid Supply Store down in my description for my video. And make sure that when you place your order, because this is spring and everybody's ordering stuff to repot in, when you place your order, put my coupon code in, Amy, and you'll receive a 12% discount. And if you're inside the continental United States, you get free shipping too. Oh, that is a great deal. Yeah. Okay, this is looking better. I think I mixed up a little bit too much of that mixture, but I'll find somewhere on some plant back here, probably my aloe, to fill in with. And that's it. Wow, okay. Looks much happier than it did. So some of you have asked me about watering techniques on this. I'm going to link below in the description box my video about Easter cacti that I did last month. And there's a subscriber, Nolan, who put a comment that was much needed and really good advice. He said he missed his every single day, so he's sure not to overwater it. And I thought that is such a good idea, because these like constant moisture, which moist does not mean wet, it doesn't mean damp, it means they just like a constant supply of being just moist every day. I just lightly water this about twice a week, and when I'm talking a little tiny bit, maybe a quarter of a cup twice a week. I lift the pot and I can kind of tell when it's getting lightweight, then I know it needs just a little bit of water. But it seems like they like moisture, but they don't like wet feet. That's the thing. That's the reason why I wanted to put the large bark on the bottom of this. I don't want any moisture in the bottom of that pot that's not drained off really, really well. And of course that cone in the middle, that's going to help aerate things too. So I believe that this is going to be a really, really good setup for this little plant. And I'm going to give you a close-up of the bag of small Orchida Bark. This is what it looks like. And here is the phone number to the Orchid Supply Store. Like I said, their information is always in my description box. And this is how I spray this down. And do you see how that gets the top of this damp, but it doesn't just flood the pot with water. So yeah, that's enough. I do that every single morning. I kind of enjoy, I enjoy misting it now. And sometimes on a hot day, I might do it twice a day. But like I said, once the pot gets really lightweight, I know I need to add a little bit of water here in my area. If you're in a cool area, I read some really good comments that, you know, people up north, they don't have any problems with this because it sounds like it's more of a cool growing plant, especially in the fall. You have to give it 45 to 55 degree temperatures for like 2 months. Yeah, that's kind of radical. Sometimes in October, we have 80-degree heat here. So I'm going to have to really think about how to give it those cooler temperatures. But you can see it requires very different care than the Thanksgiving cacti. If you overwater it, these clades will wilt. If you underwater it, these clades will wilt. And sometimes they'll just drop off. I've had both of those happen to me before. I lost a few clades just because I wasn't watering enough. So Nolan, the comment about the misting it every day has just really benefited my plants. So I really appreciate that. And here's the finished product. I love this little pot. The blooms are the same color as the pot. So I'm trying to give the plant a big hint. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to bloom this color. So from what I have read, from what the comments that have shown up on that video that I mentioned earlier, sometimes they bloom, sometimes they don't. It's just kind of a, I think they bloom when they want to. That's kind of the character of the plant. So I am really hoping that this year I get this to bloom. Okay, and here's the surprise I was telling you all about at the beginning of the video. This is my little Repotting astrophora that I bought back in October. I had a terrarium that I received from the orchid supply store. And I thought, what can I put in there? And I started looking at little teeny tiny orchids. This is just about, maybe 2 inches tall. And it blooms these little tiny purple stars. Well, this morning I checked on it to see if it needed to be watered, and look at what I found. To my astonishment, it bloomed. I couldn't believe it. Now you can see how tiny these little things are. This looks like, the spike looks like a hair from someone's head. I'm serious. But they're these little tiny purple stars. I had to share that with you all. That is just so noteworthy. I was starting to think that maybe, October wasn't the best time to get it because the winter was so cold here. And so it's been in its terrarium, and I have been, oh goodness, faithfully taking care of it. And I just had to share that with you because that is just so special to me. You would think that I have never grown an orchid before in my life, but I had to share that with you all today because that's today's find in my orchid collection. And as I close the video, I'm going to show you all the buds that have suddenly appeared on Snow White, my Thanksgiving cactus. She's going to be in bloom in just a few weeks. This has been a most unusual growing year. They always keep us guessing, and they always surprise us, don't they? Yes. So before I let you go, I'd love to say the blessing over you, your families, and your plants. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn His face toward you and give you His peace. You all make it a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.